Today, the top 5 epic falls out of my wheelchair, right, Fisher?
Yep, and you've had some epic ones today.
I've had some epic wheelchair falls.
Dude, we're falling right out of the sky!
Coming in at number 5, me and Fisher went to Walmart. We were preparing for a fishing trip, and we had got 3 new fishing poles, I believe. We were in his bedroom. We were putting line on the rods and, going through our baits, getting ready to go fishing, and we're arguing. I don't remember what we were arguing about, but that's kind of normal for me and Fisher. Me and Fisher are just like any other father and son. We argue a lot, and we're arguing, and I'm getting mad, and he's getting mad, and so I've got a fishing rod in my hand. I got the rod in my hand, and I'm in my manual chair, and I'm mad enough I'm gonna break a rod. I'm gonna break a brand new rod, and I go to break it over my knee, and when I do, for some reason I didn't have my wheelie bars on the back of my manual chair, and I put so much pressure backwards, just like now I'm going back in my wheelchair, that no wheelie bars, I didn't realize it, and just as I went down to break the rod, there I went out the back of the wheelchair backwards. Epic. And that was a 911 call for sure, because I couldn't get up. I was stuck in the down position, and what a fall that was, that's for sure.
Coming in at number 4 spot is when my dad fell out of his power chair when he was asleep. Now my dad had an old power chair, and it don't have an arm rail on the left side. He took that off so he could transfer in and out easier, whether it was his bed or his recliner. Now this particular night, he forgot to tilt his power chair back, and the power chair had a feature where you could tilt back and tilt forward, and if he tilted back, he kept his head against the wall like that, so he didn't fall out of his chair because he would have to use all his core strength to push up and fall out, but this particular night he didn't do that, and so he fell on the ground.
Coming in at number 3, falling on the deck out of my wheelchair in the rain. Yep. It was probably 9 o'clock at night. Me and Fisher decided to go to get something to eat. I don't remember if we were going to a restaurant or if we were going to Walmart just to pick a snack up. I don't remember, but I do remember that it was raining really hard. And anyway, a little backtrack to this story is Fisher always likes to lean on the back of my wheelchair when he thinks he's pushing my manual chair. And going out of the front door, we do not have the rubber like little piece of ramp that pushes you over the threshold easy, and I need to get one, but we still don't have one. But anyway, I actually put my hands on the outside of the door and I pull out, and when Fisher's helping me, he just pushes me out. Well, he was leaning like usual, and again, for some reason, didn't have the wheelie bars. I don't know why. I usually do, but I didn't this night. And so at the end of the day, he pushes me out, and when I go out over the threshold of the door, he's pushing down instead of pushing straight out. He's pushing down too. He's leaning and pushing at the same time. And so when he does, I go over that threshold and I get a little distance between me and him, and it's already, like I said, it's raining, the deck's wet, and he pushes me down, and I go out of the back of the wheelchair out on the deck. And so here we are, 9 o'clock, I don't know, 9:30 at night, maybe it's 8:30, I don't know, and now we're waiting on 911. What am I doing? I'm laying out on the deck, getting soaking wet. Well, let me put it to you this way. Just my pants were, because I was underneath, like my head and stuff was underneath like the overhang of the front of the house, but my shorts and everything was getting wet, and we're waiting on 911 to come help Fisher get me off the deck at 9:30 at night in the rain back into the manual wheelchair.
And coming in our number 2 spot is when me and my dad were at Dollar Tree. Now, we had our minivan still then, and it had a ramp. And the minivan, we've traded it off for about a year now, and we have the Nissan Altima, which does not have a ramp. He just transfers it in normally. And we were arguing about would the Smart Drive catch the holes in the van, which we had the ramp, which had little holes in it, and he was arguing no, it wouldn't, and I was arguing yes. So we're getting out of Dollar Tree, and I push him. And I'm pushing him up there, and he says, let me try to use the Smart Drive this time. So he does a little tap thing where he taps his wheel a few times. And he's going up, he's maybe a fourth the way up, and next thing I know, he just falls right on the ground.
We all know how much you like to say, I told you so.
And he could have busted his head open, but he fell backwards. And like, this was a big old crowd of people that were like watching, and he was going backwards and he fell, and so I literally run over there, and I put my hands underneath his head so he didn't bust his head open, because that's the main thing I was worried about, because he didn't come out of his wheelchair yet, so he was going like that. He was going backwards, and I saved his head from hitting the concrete. And then next thing I know, he's like, Fisher, stop the smart drive. The smart drive is going against the ramp. It's pushing me out of the chair almost, basically. And yeah, that's what happened at Dollar Tree. That was another call to 911.
Coming in at number 1, the top epic fall out of my wheelchair would definitely have to be the one time that I broke a bone when I done it. And that would be my original van. I'd just come home, you know, probably been home 3 months, 4 months after my accidents in 2010. And I was actually living in my mother's basement, me and my ex-wife and Fisher, and my stepdad lived upstairs in their house. And so we had the original big full-size conversion van, and I was in my power chair. So anyway, you know, again, I was not used to looking out, making sure everything was right for what was going to happen with me. And so me and my stepdad, we come home from somewhere. Maybe I went back to work, so maybe he was coming home from where I worked, I don't know. And when we get there, you know, he pulls the van in and he lets the automatic, you know, it has the big lift that goes out and then, you know, it goes down. And when we get down, I remember looking and I was like, we were right on the lip of the blacktop driveway. And this lip was probably maybe like 2 inches, you know. And so I was, you know, my first thought is I think I'll be okay. But anyway, I drive my power wheelchair off, and as soon as I hit that lip, all the weight of the back of the wheelchair comes over. And luckily, the power wheelchair, it, you know, when it fell, it kind of went sideways away from me, because when I fell, and the ground was at more of a slope than what I thought it was. And so I fell, and I guess my knee hit the blacktop when I fell, or maybe the wheelchair fell on the back of my leg, and it happened so fast I don't know. But anyway, I cracked the bone in my knee when I done this. And so another call to 911. But anyway, you know, this one wasn't really funny. Like the other ones were funny. This one wasn't funny because this one really hurt. And so the next day I noticed my knee had swollen up, and so I go to the doctor. We do x-rays, and sure enough, I got broken knees. I had a broken knee. And so to be very careful, always look at your surrounding when you're getting off a ramp, you know, out of your car, out of your minivan, your full-size van or whatever, because you don't want to end up with broken bones like I did.
Well, them are the top 5 times you fell out of your wheelchair, Dad.
Yeah, you know, if you're in a wheelchair long enough, it's like everything else. It's a numbers game. You're going to fall out. You're going to do this. You're going to, you know, different things are going to happen to you in a wheelchair. And them are definitely the top 5 times that I fell out of my wheelchair, Fisher. You know, we've had a lot of, you know, difficult times in the wheelchair, right?
Yep. You think you've only fell out 5 times, Dad?
Nah, I can remember probably 7 or 8 different times I fell out.
Yep. And but they've not been as epic as that, though.
Exactly, them are the top 5 without a doubt. Like number 1 wasn't as epic as it was. It's the one time that I broke bones, and so I definitely had to put that at number 1. Wouldn't you say?
Yep, and you've not broke bones ever since that.
Nope, that's the only time. But again, if you've watched us this far, you might as well go ahead and subscribe, follow us, and hit that subscribe button if you're on your computer, the watermark down there on the bottom of the screen on one of the corners. If you're on your cell phone, your smartphone, just make sure you're looking at us horizontal, and that watermark will be on one of the 2 corners, and you can subscribe there. Fisher?
Make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe.